Yo, welcome back. Hot Seat with IC Jonez. We are in the 1 o'clock hour right here on Room Service Radio. You know how I go. I am live every Thursday and Friday, 12 to 2. You know what it do. You know what I mean? I am your host, IC Jonez. And man, we just had so much energy in the room. Shout out Hip Hop Lou. Shout out to the Truth. Shout out Snaggalope, man. Y'all run that back when y'all get a chance. You dig? Make sure you let them know you tuned in. Tap in today. DM, comment, let them know. And, man, thank them for the truth and just letting us know exactly, how they came up and where they trying to go, where they headed. You know what I mean? I really, really like what they do. So they are our independent comedians. They the ones out here in the community, you know what I mean, doing what they do and making us laugh and giving us joy. You know what I mean? So for me, I'm like, man, support them, share their content, make sure that you comment, make sure that you subscribe to the channels, you feel me? Make sure that you do what you got to do to keep it moving, keep it rocking, keep it rolling for us independent people out here. You know what I mean? Who don't want to see Lou do her thing on the big screen? You know what I mean? Who don't want to see Snagga and Truth, on stage, live, you know what I'm saying? See Snagga in the movies. Like, who don't want to see the people that you came up with really grind and get to the top? Because it's well-deserved because they put in that work. And they kept saying, Lou, I got to grind like Lou. I got to keep grinding like Lou. You know what I'm saying? So we know where Lou headed, you know what I mean? She putting out that content, and that's real, you feel me? So I need y'all to do me a favor, share the live, share the live, share the live, share the live. Room Service Radio LV. I got my next guest in the building. She's right here, right now. We got Miss Gritz in the building. You know what I mean? Trina Jiles. What's happening?
What's going on? What's going on?
How you feeling?
I'm good today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Today.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
One day at a time.
One day at a time. And I'm making sure that I share the live. I can't tell y'all to share the live without me sharing the live. So share the live for me.
Yeah, share the live. I'm alive too.
For sure. Room Service Radio.
Get this hair out the way.
And that's everywhere. So Room Service Radio LV on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. And make sure that you also subscribe to Hot Seat with IC Jonez. Follow Hot Seat with IC Jonez on Instagram and Facebook. But like I said, man, we got a lady in here who's been grinding for a minute now. You know what I'm saying? She like to tell people, kiss my grits. You feel me?
I do.
Yeah. And her doors are open on Stella Lake Drive, from 7 a.m. to 3.
Yes, every day except Tuesdays. We're closed on Tuesdays now.
Okay. And then you expanded that thing.
I did.
Open that thing on up.
I had to.
For sure. So let us know where you from originally.
Well, I'm born and raised here in Las Vegas.
Okay.
Went to Valley High School.
Okay. How many generations?
Of Valley High School or just living
Vegas.
in Las Vegas? Well, my mother is from Louisiana.
Okay. So you're the first one.
Yeah.
Is this my phone?
I don't know.
Oh, that might be yours.
Actually, that's mine.
Okay.
I gotta decline it.
Okay. And you have children?
I do. I have a son, Tyler. He's 21.
Vegas?
Yeah. Born and raised here. He's in Clark, Atlanta right now in school.
Dope.
Yeah. Dope. Yeah. He loves it.
For sure. Yeah. Absolutely. And previously, firefighter.
Yeah.
And then what was the next career?
Well, I became a firefighter in 1996. Mm-hmm. And within 2 years, I became a firefighter paramedic. Mm-hmm. 4 years later, I became an arson investigator, fire investigator. Yes. Yeah. And I ultimately retired from that position in 2017.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm talking back.
Yeah. That was a long haul, but it was so worth it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Was that 21 years?
21. I know.
That's how old your son is now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, man. And that, was that something as a child, or how did that come about?
Well, definitely not something as a child. Okay. I didn't grow up wanting to become a firefighter. I actually was entering pageants at the time, and I was working for the county as a receptionist. And Sam Smith, rest his soul, he came into the fire department and he's like, sister, he came into human resources to meet with them about making the fire department more diverse. So he said, sister, you know, we need Black women on the department. There are none. And I said, well, I don't think so. I took a look at my nails and, you know, I thought there's no way. And so he told me, the hours are wonderful. The pay is great. But really what motivated me is when he told me that there were no Black women in the entire state.
Correct.
And so for me, I just thought, wow, you know, 1996, I thought we had come so far. We still have a long way to go, even now. But I kind of thought,
to be the first of something.
Yeah, to be the first.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't see women firefighters, but I didn't think it was something out of my reach. So that same day, I went to his bookstore on D Street.
Okay.
Picked up a book. I had on some tights and a skirt. And he said, sister, let me see how many push-ups you can do. And I dropped down and gave him like 25, 30 push-ups, like double what he asked me.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, you're going to be our next woman firefighter. So I had 3 months to prepare. I was pulling hose up and down Jackson Street. They taught me how to throw ladders, taught me tools. I didn't know a crowbar from a wrench, you know. And so they taught me all those things. And when the testing process came, I entered the academy with 40 men. I was the only woman. And the rest is history.
You did that right on the west side.
On the west side. That's all we can do.
West. Las Vegas, baby.
Yeah. All of my family businesses are on the west side. My mother's daycare center was on the west side. Smart Start Childcare on Owens. My sister's beauty school was on the west side, still is, right next to Gritz Cafe. And then, of course, my business is on the west side. We have Barber College. That's in North Las Vegas.
Whose was Guys and Dolls?
My sister.
Your sister.
Yes.
Gwen.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Gwen.
Absolutely. I remember that being on Valley View.
Yes. It was
like Charleston.
Yes.
Back in the day.
Look, that's where it all started.
Right.
Because my mom, she was a single mom with 6 kids at the time. I'm the youngest of 6. And my sister went into cosmetology. My mom, she used to deal. And so she decided to go to school to do hair. Her and my sister purchased Guys and Dolls. And eventually she retired from the hair, from being a dealer, and they opened up a school. Then from there, she opened up the daycare. Then from there, you know, we just followed her tracks, basically.
Now, working as a fire investigator, arson.
Yeah.
You had set hours.
We worked 24-hour shifts. So we did have set hours. So we worked 24 on, 24 off, on, off, until we had 5 days working. And then we were off for 6 days. So on average, we worked 10 days a month. But because that division, there was a small group of us, we probably worked a lot more than 10 days a month, probably on average 15. But they were 24-hour shifts. So when I was gone from home, I was gone for 24, 48, 72 hours sometimes, you know, investigating fires. And actually, I love that part of the job more so than any part of my career on the fire service.
Do people, they sleep at the firehouse?
We do.
Okay.
We did. I did. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Because I was going to kind of try to, you know, equate that to like being an entrepreneur. You work 24/7 anyway now.
Yes.
So you kind of
good
used
analogy.
To it now.
Well, yeah, I would say so because it never stops. You know, I just posted something about not being able to sleep, and I realize it's because I have so many things on my plate. I'm constantly thinking about what my next project is, my next huge catering, my next interview, my next appointment, who to meet, how to make more doors open for myself and for my family until it never stops. No. But the fire department, the luxury in that was that we slept at the fire station and we got paid to be there 24 hours. But sometimes you brought your work home with you, depending on what you saw in the fire scene. I mean, it humbled me as a person, you know, period, across the board. As a firefighter, you saw people in situations you never wanted to see people in. You help people at their lowest. And so to me, it's all about service. I like to serve in that capacity of helping people. And now I like to serve good food to people. So I'm still serving. You never stop serving.
No, you don't. Kings and queens know that you have to be a servant too.
Yeah.
What's one of the worst things that has happened to you? And then one of the greatest things?
Oh, can I get a drink?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. We got Miss Gritz in the building.
So the fire department, the last 3 years of my career as a arson investigator, and we call it fire investigator because all fires aren't arson. But the last couple years, I had some fires that kind of like sent my mind into overdrive. And one in particular was a fire scene where 2 children burned to death in a vehicle. And having to work with that family, having to help them recover from that, I end up hiring the mom at Gritz Cafe. We gave her baby. We paid for the funeral services for those children. And it really humbled me, but it changed my perception a lot about what's important and what's not. And so I was burning the candle at both ends, owning Gritz Cafe and working as a fire investigator. And I realized that I needed to take time for my son, who had been without his mom since birth, not without me, right, but my mother helped. Yeah, but with those shifts, I missed a lot of first with him. Like my mother was the caregiver for him. So when I was working 24-hour shifts, she was seeing his first steps. And I had Tyler when I was 28 years old. So I had plenty of time. You know, I was ready for a child, but my career kept me from seeing a lot of things that I needed to see.
The sacrifice of being the first African-American female firefighter. You missed some of your sons first. That's crazy.
Ooh, come with it now. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But would he change anything? Is he okay? He's good.
We're closer now than we've ever been since I retired. Because I had to learn his likes and dislikes. A lot of times he was acting out, and I know it was because he needed his mom. You know, my attention, for me to be there, for me to understand. And I was the dictator. So when he was acting up, they were like, he won't do this. And I get in my fire vehicle and head to the house like, what? This what we doing? You know? So I had to learn that my son's personality has so many facets to it, you know? And I wasn't there to see him grow into the young man that he is now. So we had a lot of catching up to do. We've caught up a lot in the last 5 years. So I literally spend time with my child. We talk about everything. He tells me sometimes too much, you know, but I would prefer him ask me about it than anyone else. And so I had to really kind of understand that I was absentee mom, so to speak, because I wasn't there. I was out giving my services and my care and attention to families who I thought needed it more. But in reality, I have a son at home who needed me just as much as those people needed me to determine the origin and cause or to comfort them when they were grieving. I needed to be comforting my own child. Yeah. Absolutely.
And then that comes, you know, with him acting out and him having his own trauma, so to speak. You know what I mean? Okay, so what's one of the greatest things?
The greatest things? Oh, there's so many great things that I've seen in my career. When I was a firefighter, just when we would save a life. You know, when I was a paramedic for a period of time, and there were some calls where we thought we lost someone and we were able to get them back and they recovered. And I ran some really high profile calls as a firefighter, and then also as a fire investigator. I was the lead investigator on the Monte Carlo fire, and that made national news. I feel like every time that I helped someone to live better or just comforted them through their hard time, that was the greatest moment. Like, I can't narrow it down to like one thing that I've done to say that was the moment that made me feel like this.
Just one of them. One of the greatest.
Yeah, just one of them. But there were so many that humbled me to let me know that I was in the right field too.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Have you ever been married, Miss Trina?
Ooh, I said bring the juice. You squeezing the lemons, right?
Yes.
So I was married one time. I've been proposed to 3. Yeah.
Does that mean you said no?
I was married one time, but I annulled that marriage after 6 months. So I was married. So I don't know. Technically, once. I was married one time.
And then got it annulled?
Got it annulled within after 6 months.
Okay.
I was with this man for 6 years. It was during my time on the fire department.
Okay.
And it didn't work out. But early on, I knew that we weren't equally yoked.
Okay.
But some part of me, being as resilient as I have been, and just, I always like the challenge.
Okay.
And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Right.
You know, because professionally, all of these things that I want, I can achieve. But when it pertains to my personal life, you know, not so much, because now it involves somebody else, where those are things, these are people, and you have no control over what other people do.
You do not.
So I have been married once. I got that annulled.
And proposed to 3 times?
Yeah.
Did you say no 3 times, or?
I accepted one other time.
Okay.
So I accepted one other time.
How was that to say no?
Well, I accepted, and then during the time, I accepted.
You said yes.
I said yes twice, and then married once. Yeah. And then my third proposal, I accepted.
Okay.
And that situation ended up being where we just weren't aligned, and there were a lot of things that I didn't know that. After I accepted the proposal, all of these things started to reveal themselves. And so I believe in marriage, and I believe in it working forever. And so I had to be honest with myself. Like, is this the person that I love so much that I'm willing to live with him forever and go through all those things? Because a challenge. It's a challenge. Everything is a challenge, you know? So I was like, okay, we're not equally yoked, and I'm still doing the work on that.
What does that mean for the people who don't know?
Okay, so the Bible talks about being equally yoked, but I'm talking about when you and this person, like, I early on knew that some people, there were red flags. Okay. And I didn't want to accept those flags for what they were, so I thought I could love those red flags out of them.
I'm going to love the hell out of you.
Right. And that's where I think a lot of us, at least, let me just speak for myself, but, you know, where we feel like I could love somebody to the point where if I love that person enough, then they will give me that same love that I need in return. And so my love language is really all of the love languages. And so I had to kind of come to grips that sometimes there were people in my life that I shouldn't have brought into my life, but there was something that drew me there initially. Yeah. And then ultimately I saw things that I knew I could not I wouldn't be okay with ever, but I stuck it out for longer, thinking that if I compromise, because it's the great compromise. No marriage, no relationship is perfect. So why not love somebody? Because love wins, right? Doesn't love win?
That's what the Bible says.
Right. So if love wins, then I'm a winner. I'm going to make this happen. But
sometimes it's loving yourself out of that situation. That's the winning
Well, ooh, yes. Oh, man. I see. Come on now. That's where I'm at with it, because really, to give love to somebody else, you have to love yourself. So you really have to forgive yourself for the mistakes you made, for the bad choices you made. I'm never a victim in any situation. I participated fully.
Okay.
And so I can't say that this person did that to me. I allowed that because I stayed there. Sometimes after, went back 2 and 3 times thinking, oh, he's sorry, or it's going to change, or he's my soulmate, or whatever it is. When in reality, it was just me wanting something so much. I painted this perception of what I wanted it to be, because if I can do all of this over here, if I can pull these hoes and ladder, look, I can pull this, I can pull all of I can fix all of that brokenness that's not only within myself, but maybe within that other person. And really, that's not your job. Like, 2 people coming together whole is the ticket.
A lot of times, well, I've known you for a while. I think you single.
Right now. So
now.
I am single.
Okay. But like, I don't ever see like a picture of you.
You
and
will
a man
not.
Date
so
night
I
with
learned
my
that.
boo.
Look, whoa. So those were the lessons I had to learn. So someone that I was with who had proposed, I'm posting pictures. And sometimes when you have a business in the community or you're well known, people are invested in your relationship, and you put them in it because you're posting all of these special moments that really should be reserved for you and that person. Okay. And so I did that. Okay. And when it was time for me to give this man his ring back, I crawled up under a table and just kind of deleted everything like it didn't happen. And people are like, what happened? Like, I literally had people come into my restaurant like, when is the wedding? And I had given this man his ring back 3 years prior. And I had to say, I opened that door. And so now I realize how important my personal, private life is when it concerns love, really is. So unless this man is my husband, you will not see him until we know that it's so solid and concrete. Because if you put too much information out there, then that gives people an opportunity really to destroy what could be so beautiful, but bringing in all that outside noise, you don't realize.
Did you know that? I knew this.
Ooh, something. You know, it's the whole thing. You can't give it all away until you know that it's on a solid foundation.
He used to.
Okay, she used to. How about that one? I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. You know, so everybody have their own stories that they want to tell. Yeah, they want to tell him. They want to tell me. Yeah. And I'm kind of like a writer. Okay. I mean, I wish we could do like resumes when it comes to exes. Be like, I'm going to check your references. Right. Because I write. So really nobody could come to me and speak ill of my ex when I was with them, because I am loyal. Right. And so, but that burned me a lot of times, because some of the things that they were trying to warn me of, I destroyed some really good friendships because I didn't want, because I'm a writer, but that's what love does. And so I just have to make sure that the person that I'm writing for appreciates that, and then it's given in return, you know? So
absolutely.
That's it's hot seat, IC.
Yes, absolutely. Are men intimidated by how business savvy you are?
I don't think men are in general. So it's a little difficult for people to run game on me. I peep a lot of game, and I keep a lot of things quiet. Like, I'm really nice until I'm not nice no more. You know, so it's not that men are intimidated per se. I just think that the right man won't be. I worked around men, and I learned a lot from the fire department. Like the fire department really raised me.
Okay.
So I worked with men in uniforms, and I used to see how women pursued these men in uniform. And I understood that dynamic. And I know that it doesn't necessarily always go both ways. But when it comes to intimidation, I think that my energy is feminine no matter what situation I'm in, unless I'm fighting fire or investigating or running my business.
Yeah.
So when I come home, you don't really get that same energy that I have in business.
Okay.
Some people might be intimidated. They have no reason to be. I mean, I think most strong men want a resilient woman. I don't really like that term, strong woman, you know? And I know, because I think that it speaks to something that really isn't real. I think we have strength in our resiliency. We have strength in certain areas, but just being strong, like most women ideally want to be weak and vulnerable to the right man. So strong comes across, and I think because it's that strong Black woman, you know, but we're resilient, we're ambitious, we're intelligent, we're beautiful. Yeah, and all of those speak to our strength.
Yes.
And it doesn't mean we're strong. It means that we have strength in all of these areas. So I know I'm resilient. I know I'm determined. I know I'm a go-getter. But that is for the man God has for me.
Correct.
You know, and the man he has for me, he won't be intimidated by it because he'll know that I stand next to him proudly. So,
what's the longest you've been single?
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah, 2 years.
And now you're single, right?
Yeah.
Are you enjoying this time? Like you just, like, I guess, waiting, or are you not even like waiting? It's just like, it's going to be like, oopsie daisy, hey.
Well, I'm not waiting, but I'm not looking either.
Right.
I think that the right man will come at the right time.
Right.
I kind of feel like when you're waiting for something, you've put your goals on hold, and that's that victim mode. I'm going to wait till this happened. I'm going to wait till that happened. No, I'm moving forward. And if I collide paths with the man that God has for me, then
on
that's
this path.
And I will. So I can't even say if, because I already know that's in the future. But sometimes when we put ourselves in this waiting for the right time, there's no right time for anything. Either it is or it isn't.
Right.
Yeah. Either you're going to make it happen or you're not.
What do you think about this new wave? Because I'm sure growing up, I didn't see this growing up, and I'm an 80s baby, right? Women proposing to men.
Ooh. That makes my teeth itch.
Really?
Absolutely. In the words of Jeremy Washington. Whew, I would never. So I guess I'm traditional in a sense, and that's crazy because I have a non-traditional history behind me being a firefighter. However, I think that it's the man's role to be the pursuer of the woman. And we've lost that. So a lot of times women are pursuing men, and that's where we get hurt. That's where we are broken. That's where we lose our self-respect and our dignity. The man is the king of the castle, you know, in my opinion. And so I do believe in that traditional sense that men are the head of the household. And so for me to propose and get on a knee to propose to a man, that's taking away everything God intended, the hierarchy, and I believe in the Bible. So for some women who are non-believers, that works for them. But a man, if he wants you, in my opinion, he will pursue you. And so the reality is, when you're a good woman, a ring should be the easiest thing to get if you're a good woman. Now, I had to say, you've been proposed to this many times, and you didn't accept them. And why? And why were you in relationships with men who you weren't willing to marry? And so now I date more intentionally. I know if I'm dating, where is this going? What are we doing? It's not just for fun. Are we on the same page? Do we want the same things? Can you provide for me? Because I cook, clean, and run a business, you know? So all of those things are important to me. So no, I don't prescribe to that at all. Okay. I will never.
I will never. And,
I cannot.
You have a probationary period. Some women don't.
Oh gosh, I said put me on the hot seat. So, well, put it this way. A story that, I was in a relationship, and after it became public, it didn't even pass probationary period. Well, Gritz has a 90-day probationary period.
Yes.
Most jobs have a 1 year, 90-day, 6 months.
Right.
And so it didn't pass probationary period. But I think that speaks to the strength of the relationship at the time. And this is not against anyone, because the men and so I could never clearly, or I would not have been attracted to them at some point.
Right.
So I cannot say that it was one person's fault or the other. Wanted our relationship to go. So I'm looking for marriage and stability and anything else. Finances, I can take care of myself, but I do prefer a man who is successful. And what I mean by successful is it doesn't necessarily have to be in money, but it has to be in love and wholeness, and you're successful at whatever it is your purpose is, because we all have one. We're just really trying to figure out what that is. Crazy. So every day you're waking up wondering, like, why am I here? What am I doing? Crazy accident, at the store, or random shooting at a school. So you're waking up quite often saying, like, what is it? Why am I here? What am I doing? Yeah. And so success for me, in a sense, from a man's point of view, and what I think success is not always surely financial, as long as he has his own goals and his own mission and he's driven. From a success standpoint.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. What about equal, like men and women? Because you just gave it to me where, like, a woman is a woman, man is a man. But, like, some people, or you feel like everybody has their place?
I want equal pay. I want equal rights.
Okay.
I want equal opportunity.
Okay.
I've worked for that.
Yeah.
So my counterpart, two pulled hose, I got paid the same amount of money that they got,
Yes.
So we are equal.
Okay.
We have to be equally yoked. I believe that when you're in a relationship with someone, you understand that God created the woman for the man. And once the man takes his proper place, then I believe that women who are quote unquote resilient, because I'm not, because they have someone who they know can hold them up.
Right.
And keep them held up and not put them down,
Yeah.
So, yes, women deserve equal pay, equal rights, equal opportunity. And so for some people it works, where they're in a relationship where they wear the pants. For you, who am I to judge,
right.
That scenario? Because there are some very dominant women,
Yeah.
you know, who rule the roost.
Yeah. And I think some women, some men like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they'll
Dominatrix and all of that stuff.
Is the head of the household. Like, but when you do certain things, right? We equal. Yeah, I'm the head too. You know, all that type of stuff. You know what I mean? But it's like, no, there is an order here.
There's an order. If you're the head of the household, then you have to lead.
Yeah.
You know, and society norms have taught us that women can do non-traditional fields.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yes.
we should be able to get the same pay as Dr. such and such if I'm Dr. such and such.
I rock with
marriage scenario, respect should be equal.
Mm-hmm.
So respects first.
Yep.
To that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I am traditional when it comes to, so it's like, I'm non-traditional in my career.
In the field.
Yes, in my profession. My mother cooked every day. Mm-hmm. You know, she raised us in the church. Mm-hmm. And so traditionally, that's what I value in a home setting.
I like the conversations. People try to make it seem like that's the equal situation. Like, well, then women should open the door for me too then. Women should do complex. I like it. You know what I mean? Because it's a public thing and then there's a private thing. There's a hierarchy here and then there's a rock with that.
Yeah. Because men still open doors, men.
And
so sit there until he does.
It's, you know, cafe, right? You said that stops people is paperwork.
Ooh, yes. It almost stopped. So I put Gritz.
Okay.
I did not open Gritz Cafe until
okay.
I Googled how to open a restaurant. Paperwork and boom, you're in an industrial area. You need a variance, a zone variance. Do a zone variance. Have to go in front of the planning commission. You need a parking variance. Boom. You know, okay, let me get a parking variance. Who knows how to get a parking variance? By this piece of paper, but it's paperwork. So I initially did not want Gritz to be a paper plate operation. Mm-hmm. That wasn't my idea. So I decided, okay, maybe the food will just keep them coming, because the sanitation department said that it had to be a disposable operation, mm-hmm. period, because I didn't have a grease trap at the time. Mm-hmm. So there are a lot of people, oh, they eat on paper. And I wasn't going to keep my dream from happening. I had liquidated 5 properties to open Gritz at that time. Gave me the opportunity to buy rental properties. When I tried to open Gritz Cafe, get a loan from Wells Fargo with all of this stuff going on. Wells Fargo. Okay. Because I couldn't get a loan from them, and I have been in business with them for a long time.
Right.
So I basically sold my 5 properties mm-hmm. and used my own capital. Mm-hmm. And one company gave me a $50,000 loan. Mm-hmm. New venture capital. The ground, but the
shout out New Venture.
Yeah, their loan had my back. Mm-hmm. brother of Marsha Washington, April Washington. Is the only company that gave me a loan, and there was a small company that is like myself. So I had to go through that kept putting up all of these hurdles that I almost gave up. You know, I almost gave up because up is an option for me. I just that time because I already know, like, I don't give.
Gotta find the strength to get over this hurdle. Gotta dig for that resilience.
You do.
Gotta get. 2005 to 2008 before you open the doors, from being on paper to open the doors.
Oh, then what should I call it? My ex-husband. His sister was like, put a Z on the end. Just did all my research, started gathering. The closer it came to opening my doors, I started putting the word out there. Because it speaks Southern. From the South who have moved here. And they were in Atlanta every day at, you know, and so I just researched all different types of meals flown in, Anson meals, different grits, because I'm thinking, but Stone Ground wasn't the one that passed the grits that passed the test. The Stone Ground, they were 2 ground. They had, so we went with what the customers wanted. So in between that time, too, you know, so
crazy because you got the restaurant.
Years. Spot. Everybody like, you need one over. You know, when another one right away, but then my reliable staff and you know that there's a difference in respond to women-owned businesses. Really don't talk about, but and business.
No, you're not.
I'm no nonsense. You know, if otherwise we would complain because we can't make everyone happy, but there's a standard. When it comes to women, they're referred to as the B word, but and so what I say I'm going to do and what I say I'm not going to do, I'm not going to. That not everyone is like that. Relationships, like I never. And I've learned not to just. I do what I'm supposed to do. And I see something, don't, you know.
Miss Trina, have political ways in business?
If they were friends, I don't think I've lost friends. And it didn't work out and we parted ways and we are still friends.
Good.
Now, you know,
True Color Show, you like, you were.
Plan was never to do what this said I was going to do, you know, and I really feel like if someone, you do your part and they don't do, because it's not just happening to people.
Yes.
And been in business for 15, giving small business owners and other people an opportunity. And I love to understand that along with that comes business for so long, you have to be able to discern your investigator. Once you become an investigator to communication and what that looks like, personal life, because I kind of want to, I like to, but it's also in, people say, I want to be a silent partner. I got 250. And I'm like, okay.
Nothing. There ain't no scandals coming this way, baby.
It's about it. Right. And I didn't, so I've missed out on, and it wasn't me. People make offers and said, nobody gives you anything for free. Not ways there should be a return on a person.
Not with Gritz.
Yeah. Business, and that came over.
You actually gave me my start in radio.
Oh, wow.
You and Sharon.
Much.
Yeah. You two gave me my, and I was like, gotta get a grip ball.
So we're located at 1911 Stella Lake Street. Been every day except Tuesday. Been every day from 7 to 3 except Tuesdays. And starting tomorrow is Black Restaurant. We'll be offering a special with French fries. Some of those proceeds will go toward in the community. I do believe to whom much is given, much is required. And I think that part of that has been my mainstay. You know, I be like super. My joy comes from seeing other people gave me my start, or you helped me accomplish, or encouragement, so they'll know when you have those tasks. Like I have been through the storm and back, and in my darkest, and know that this bright light, like bright light, you're there, and then something happens. Just know it's gonna be okay.
Tell people you find a brighter you.
That every time, every storm, learning something, learning every time.
It's a fact. Where they follow you at online?
You can follow me at Miss Grit. And we also have a business page on Facebook, Gritz Cafe. Open for your service. 255-4748. And they can also, if we're really busy, we have an hour wait. You may not be able.
Because it's popping over there.
It's stupid over there.
Straight
I
up.
mean.
Make sure y'all put in y'all orders, man. Order online. One more time.
19 Nevada in the 89106.
Yeah, man. Did you enjoy yourself in the hot seat today?
With it. I mean, fresh.
We got it, though. Now you might not have to tell the story again.
I'm coming out with some things. Because it's just life, you know, and understand, and I want other Black our younger women to understand there's a journey, there's a process to having boundaries, and taught that we are thing, and rather not have to. I want to be weak, right? Talk, because a lot of us are suffering, are so resilient. The suffering because nobody is there. I got you. You know, the kids need you.
Yeah, that's real. Thank you. I enjoyed this one. Matter of fact, I told you I was going to. We had Miss Gritz in the building, Trina, Jiles. Make sure y'all follow me, Hot Seat with IC Jonez, YouTube as well. ICJ. Comment, like, share. Holla at your boy, and make sure you see me every Friday. It's going up in a major way. Let's go, baby.